Hi fellow big game hunters, welcome to my channel. In this video 1, I will illustrate the most powerful calibers down to the least powerful for each bullet diameter, and they will be compared to the most popular caliber being the 3006 Springfield. I will also provide recommendations of which game should be hunted per caliber and per range. My name is Gillis and this is Big Game Techie Hunter channel. I am a big game hunter and engineer. The reason I mention this is to provide credibility to my computations and my numbers that you'll see. I've gathered all the ballistic data in a spreadsheet on computer from ammunition manufacturers' websites such as Winchester, Remington, Federal, Hornady, Barnes, Nosler, Swift, Weatherby, and Norma for the best and better bullets available. Now, for some calibers where little ammo is available, then I took all of the types available. Norma was used in those cases. Now, by best and better bullets, I mean bullets with good weight retention, good penetration, and good expansion. The calibers I've assembled are all calibers starting from 0.243 inch bullet diameter and up to 0.358 inch. The ballistic data that were collected are bullet weights, bullet types, G1 and G7 ballistic coefficients, bullet velocity, and kinetic energy from muzzle to 500 yards. Once I have collected all the data for each caliber, I computed kinetic energy averages for each caliber at each of the ranges from muzzle to 500 yards. As a comparison method, I've compared each caliber at each of the ranges to the most popular caliber, again being the 3006 Springfield. Now, based on the most recommended foot-pounds of energy to kill big game, I've made a list of recommended animals to hunt for each caliber at short range, medium range, and long range. The recommended energy we see most are 2,000 foot-pounds for moose, 1,500 foot-pounds for elk, and about 900 foot-pounds for white-tailed deer. Now, when I looked at those figures, what I've noticed is if we take the normal maximum male weight of each of these, the recommended energy values for moose, elk, and deer match with their comparative ratios of the square root of their weights. This makes sense to me when considering the volume or size of the animals. The width or depth is very important for bullet penetration, and the body height and length are much less important and can be regarded as the only other one dimension. Let's continue now with a presentation and begin with the 0-243 inch calibers. As you can see here in this first slide, at the bottom we have the big game legend from pronghorn starting with a P and up to bison starting with a B, and at the bottom we have the recommended kill energy required for each game, which were calculated based on what I've discussed before. You can still kill the game you hunt with lower foot-pounds of energy, but you are limited to shooting the perfect shot with the animal standing 90 degrees sideways to you. By using the recommended calibers at the recommended energy, you'll have enough drag force and penetration distance to kill the animal even if it's not quite sideways to you, and you stand less of a chance to have to try to find it in the woods. keep in mind that the list of big game for each caliber is based on the average energy from the commercially available cartridges and bullets. You know, there may be one or a few cartridges and bullets within the lot which will exceed these averages. In each of the impact distance slide, like this one and the others that you'll see later, the third column, the one with the percentage symbol, provides the comparative percentage difference to 30-06 Springfield caliber, on average, based on the commercially available ammunition for that distance. In this size bullets, we have the 240 Weatherby Magnum, the 6mm Remington, the 6mm Creedmoor, and the 243 Winchester. You can see that we have the average foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle, the percentage comparison to 30-06, and then we have the same numbers for 100 yards, and the recommended big game for that range. The 240 Weatherby Magnum is good for up to Kodiak bear at this range. The 6mm Remington, good for the polar bear, as well as the 6mm Creedmoor, and the 243 Winchester would be good for up to elk. Let's go now see the next slide. In this slide we have the same calibers but for the medium range, and as you can see, the 240 Weatherby Magnum is still the leader, followed closely with the 6mm Creedmoor. And again, you have the recommended animals here at the right hand column. Let's go to the next slide for the long range. Now, for the long range, we have suddenly a switch going from 400 to 500 yards. You know, 240, the 6mm Creedmoor leading a little bit over the 240 Weatherby Magnum, but they are, you know, very close to each other. So we might as well say they are equivalent. And again, you have the recommended game at the right here. And you have, keep in mind, you have the legend here for all the animals. Next slide. So here we have for all ranges, we have the ranking for each of the calibers in this category. Now let's go to the other size bullets, which is the .264 inch, and I've included also the .257 inch calibers because they are very close to each other. There's only 7 thousandths of an inch difference, and in the 257 inch we only have a couple of calibers in this size, so I've included them together. So here we can clearly see that for short range, that the 6.5 300 Weatherby Magnum is the leader, followed closely by the 26 Nosler, and some percentage behind we have the 6.5 Weatherby RPM, followed by the 257 Weatherby Magnum. Now, unfortunately, as you'll recognize, you know, those top calibers, I would say from the 257 Weatherby Magnum and up, they are unfortunately not very popular, but gee whiz, I mean, they are powerful for long ranges, and probably because of the recoil. But nowadays, with the muzzle brakes, the availability of muzzle brakes, this should not be a problem now for most people. So, you know, I would recommend using those calibers if at all. You know. So then we have, you know, the 264 Winchester Magnum, which unfortunately isn't also popular, but it has right now so few available cartridges that if it had more available cartridges, it would probably be upper in the ranking, because it's also a very powerful caliber. And we have in the list the famous 6.5 millimeter Creedmoor and the 6.5 millimeter PRC. As you can see, the PRC leads over the Creedmoor in the short range, and as you'll see, it also leads it in the medium and long range. Let's go to the next slide, which is the medium range. So we still have those high-powered calibers at the top, and then we have the 6.5 millimeter PRC leading over the 257 Weatherby Magnum by just a little bit, and you see followed closely by the 264 Winchester Magnum. Again, if it had more available cartridges, it would probably have been much more popular. And we have the Creedmoor following below the 264 Magnum. Now let's go to the next slide, the long range. So now in the long range here, we have the 26 Nosler leading over the 6.5 300 Weatherby Magnum, followed again by the 6.5 Weatherby RPM. So those are pretty good calibers. Now let's go to the next slide, which gives us the average of all the ranges. So here the 6.5 300 Weatherby is clearly the leader on average for all the ranges, followed closely by the 26 Nosler, and the third one on the list is the 6.5 Weatherby RPM. And the fourth one is the 6.5 millimeter PRC, which, like I said before, is quite a bit more powerful than the 6.5 millimeter Creedmoor. Okay, now let's go to the next slide. Here we have the .277 size bullets, which includes the 27 Nosler, 270 Weatherby Magnum, 6.8 millimeter Western, 270 WSM, 270 Winchester, and 6.8 millimeter Remington SPC. As you can see here, the 27 Nosler is leading the way quite a bit, and then we have the 270 Weatherby Magnum, and surprisingly we have the 6.8 millimeter Western, which is really not popular, but it's quite a powerful caliber in this size bullets. So now and all these calibers except the last one in this short range are good for up to bison. So now I'm going to go a little faster, and you can watch this video at will. Let's go now to the medium range. So we still have those three calibers, top calibers, and leading the way: the 27 Nosler, 6.8 millimeter Western, and 270 Weatherby. And as you can see, the 6.8 millimeter Western took second place here from the short range to the medium range. And here on the right hand column you can again see the recommended animals to hunt. Now let's go to the long range. For the long range we still have the same three top calibers leading, and we have the games on the right hand column. And let's go now to the all range slide, and again the 27 Nosler is leading with quite a bit of foot-pounds, And again, to the 27 Nosler and also the 6.8 millimeter Western and the 270 Weatherby Magnum, you know, there are not popular calibers, but probably because of the recoil. And again, I mean, now with the muzzle brakes that we can get on the rifles, I mean, they should be more popular. And yeah, the cost of the ammunition is also a factor, but the more popular the calibers are, the lower the price of the ammunition will be. So now let's go to the next size bullets. Now I'm going to go a little faster because now you know how it works for each slide. So here in this one, we're looking at the .284 inch size bullets, and look who's leading the way. The recent introduction of the 7mm backcountry from Federal, and it is quite powerful, even over the 28 Nosler and the 7mm Remington Ultramag, followed by the 7mm Weatherby Magnum, and next is the PRC, followed by the WSM, and then the Remington Magnum. So this 7mm backcountry is a good introduction. It's powerful, and all of those calibers except for the last two are good for bison, up to bison, and this for the short range. And at the bottom we have the 7mm 08 and the 7mm Mauser. Now let's go see at the medium range. For the medium range, we still have the same ranking in terms of caliber. Now let's go and see the long range. Again, well, we have almost the same calibers, except here at 500 yards, the 7mm PRC leads the way over the 7mm Rum, but by not much, you know, about what, 30 foot-pounds. So, but keep in mind again that those are average numbers. I mean, of course, you can find cartridges and bullets which will provide you, you know, numbers which are above average. So, I mean, they are still good calibers. Now let's go to the all ranges slide, and clearly the 7mm backcountry is the leader, followed by the 28 Nosler and the 7mm Rum. Now let's go to the next size bullets, which is the .308 inch size bullets, which is the list of the famous 300 type calibers. So here we see that again a fancy caliber is leading. It's the 378 Weatherby Magnum, followed by the 300 Rum and the 30 Nosler, and then followed by, in fourth place, by the 300 Weatherby Magnum. Fifth place, 300 PRC. Sixth place, 300 WSM, and followed closely by the 300 Winchester Mag. And we have the 3006, the second last, and the last one is the 308. So we see that, yes, I mean, the 3006 is more powerful than the 308, although they are both very popular calibers. Now again, you know, those top calibers are not very popular, but they should be with you know, those muzzle brakes again. Now let's go see the medium range. We still have the same calibers leading the way, except here at 300 yard. yeah, at 300 yard, Nosler took the lead over the 300 rum, but by not much really. So they are pretty well equal, both of them. Now let's go and see. So you see here, they are good for bison right up to the 300 Win Mag at this range, and followed closely by the 300 Rem Short Action Ultra Mag and the 3006 and 308. Now let's go see the long range. For the long range, we still have the same three calibers at the top, and the only one that's still good for bison for up to 500 and 550 yards is the 3378. Now the 30 Nosler and 300 Rum and 300 PRC would be good up to 450 yards, you know, according to my double star here. And the 300 Weatherby Magnum would be good up to 400 yards. On average, of course, based on the bullets and cartridges available. Now let's go and see the final slide for this size bullets. So we have for all ranges, we have clearly the leader, which is the 3378 Weatherby Magnum, followed by, which are very close to each other, the 300 Rum and the 30 Nosler. And then in fourth and fifth place, which are close to each other, the 300 PRC and the 300 Weatherby Mag. Now the 300 WSM and the 300 Win Mag, they are, you know, very close to each other. Being that Winchester tried to match the 300 Win Mag performances with a shorter cartridge. Okay, let's go see the next size bullets. Well, they're still the same size, .308, but I've also included the .321 inch size bullets for these low power calibers. Now, by low power calibers, I mean lower energy, the lower foot pounds, but these calibers would be used more for like dense forest hunting, and you know, where you may encounter lots of branches and so on. So it's mostly short range, but those calibers are very popular for, you know, for dense forests, like for deer, for white-tailed deer, for instance. And so we have here in this list at the top, we have the 3040 Krag caliber, followed by the 300 British and the 308 Marlin Express, which are at the top three for the 100 yard range. And we have also the, in fourth place, the 300 Savage, and the fifth place, the 32 Winchester Special, which is really a little bit bigger bullet, but I've since there aren't too many low power calibers in this size bullets, I've included it with the 308 size bullets, and as you can see here, for short range, it's a little more powerful than the 3030 Winchester, but you know, close to it. These two calibers are very popular for heavy bush, you know, hunting. So so again, here on the right hand column, I mean the first two calibers would be good for moose at short range. Let's go see now how they perform at medium range. So at medium range, we still have the 3040 Krag leading the way, followed by the 303 British and the 300 Savage. At this range, we can see that the 300 Savage took over the 308 Marlin Express for third place. Again, followed by the 32 Winchester Special and the 30-30 Winchester. And the top three calibers would be good for caribou right up to 300 or 350 yards. Even the Marlin Express also. Now let's go see at the long range. So for the long range, which really those calibers aren't really fit for it, but still we can see that the 30-40 Krag is good for up, to white-tailed deer, mule deer, sheep, bighorn sheep, and black bear. And then the other two would be good for up to mountain goat. But and then, as you can see, the lower calibers are really not fit for those long ranges. Now, next slide gives us the average for all ranges. So again, we can see here that the 30-40 Krag is really the leader, followed by the 303 British, and then followed closely by the 300 Savage. And in fourth place, not very far behind, is the 308 Marlin Express. Next slide. Now we go to this other size bullets, which is the 0.323 inch size bullets. And we don't have many calibers in this range. We have the high power caliber, which is the 325 Winchester Short Magnum, which was introduced some years ago, but unfortunately hasn't been very popular. Probably because it didn't quite exceed by quite a bit the performance from the 308 size bullets, the high power 308 size bullets. And then we have in the low power caliber, we have the 8mm by 57 Mauser. And here we can see again that the type of game that we can hunt at short range with these calibers. Next slide, medium range. You see here the 325 WSM is still good for up to bison for that range. And the 8mm by 57 Mauser would be good for caribou, up to caribou. Now let's go see the long range. For long range, the 325 WSM is pretty good for up to elk, and the 8mm by 57 Mauser would be good for up to mountain goat for long range. And on average for all ranges, we see that the 325 WSM averages 2,617 foot-pounds of energy, and the 8mm by 57 Mauser 1,467 foot-pounds. Let's go to a bigger size bullet, the 0.338 inch size bullets. So here we have again clearly leading the way a Weatherby cartridge, which is the 378 Weatherby Magnum, followed by the 338 Lapua Magnum, and closely following the 338 Remington Ultra Mag, and the 340 Weatherby Magnum. Now these last three are very close to each other, and as you'll see, if you look at muzzle and 100 yards, there is a little bit of shuffle here, but they are still very close. And then we have the 33 Nosler, which is not far behind, and then the 338 Weatherby RPM, 338 Win Mag, and the 338 Federal, which is, you know, way down, but it's actually not a Magnum cartridge. Again, like before, we have some unpopular calibers here, but powerful and worthwhile to use now with the muzzle brakes. You know, the 338 378 Weatherby Magnum, the 338 Lapua, the 338 Rum, the 340 Weatherby Magnum, and the 33 Nosler. I mean, those are very good calibers, as you can see here, and as you will see for medium range and long range, you know, for big game, for really big game animals like bison. Of course, bison, I mean, when I included bison, it's really because bison is really for hunts where you pay for, you know, where you have a farm and somebody raises buffaloes and bisons, and you go there, you pay a certain amount of dollars, and you hunt one. So you know they are pretty good for moose, Kodiak bear, polar bear, elk, and so on. Really for you know, from short range right up to long range, as you'll see. Let's go to the next slide. Again, at medium range, we have a little bit of shuffle here, you know, where 33 Nosler moved up by 2 places from short range. You see here, it went from 5th place and now to 3rd place in this slide. And all of those calibers except the 338 Federal are still very good for up to bison size animals. Next slide, long range. We still have the same top 3 calibers: 338, 378, 338 Lapua Magnum, and 33 Nosler, followed by 338 Rum and 340 Weatherby Magnum. Now the top 4 are still good for bison for even long range. Now let's go see for all the averages for all ranges. So clearly the 338 378 is pretty powerful at 3,811 foot-pounds, followed by the Lapua Magnum and the 33 Nosler, and not far behind is the 338 Rum. Now, the bigger size bullets, but they are really medium power and low power calibers. We have here for the .358 size bullets, we have in the medium power calibers, we have the 35 Whelan, the 358 Winchester, and then for low power calibers, we have the 360 Buckhammer, the 35 Remington, and the 350 Legend. And you can see what they're good for short range here. Now let's go see the medium range slide. We can see that the order is still the same, the order of calibers, and you can see the animals that they're good for up to medium range here. And for long range, of course, for the low power calibers, I mean, they aren't powerful enough for any game, but the medium power are still good here. And for all ranges, we can see here the average in foot-pounds energy And again, we can see the percentage difference when we compare to 3006 Springfield caliber. And finally, I made up 2 slides showing the recommended calibers in descending order for each game for all ranges up to 550 yards. So here for bison, we have the 338 378 Weatherby Magnum, 338 Lapua Magnum, 33 Nosler, 3378 Weatherby Magnum, and 338 Rum for all ranges. And then we go to moose. We have all these previous calibers plus these ones. And you can see here we have the average foot-pounds of energy at 500 yards on the right-hand column. And then we go to Kodiak Bear, all of the previous calibers plus these ones. Then for Polar Bear, we have these additional calibers. For Elk, we have all of these additional calibers. And then we go to Musk Ox and Grizzly Bear, all the previous calibers, plus the 3006 Springfield, 280 Remington, and 6.5 millimeter PRC. Then we go to Caribou, and then we add these additional calibers here. Then we go to white-tailed deer, mule deer, bighorn, sheep, and black bear. We have all these additional calibers, again for all ranges, up to 500, 550 yards. And finally, for mountain goat and pronghorn, we have these additional calibers. In my next video coming up in the near future, I will introduce bullet drag force and penetration distance into the animal. It will get a bit technical, but worthwhile to hear, see, and understand. You will understand that some calibers, although good in foot-pounds of energy, might not have good enough bullet penetration distance, and so their ranking may get diminished. Hope you liked the presentation, and stay tuned for my next video. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Bye for now.